Hello. Good morning. It is a humid 78 degrees here where I'm at, and God knows I'm just not built out for the humidity. Um, I'm just not. It's just not my thing. So today we are going to discuss parenting and credit. It is all too often that I have seen or heard horror stories from people who are now adults from when either their parents have gotten credit accounts in their name or where the children are not educated enough on credit practices to establish credit themselves. And I am convinced that it is a parenting, I don't want to say fail, because it's not a fail if you don't know. It's a fail if you know and you don't do. So I think it's just one of those parenting things where as parents or even as adults who are in a place of guardianship or mentorship that we should be to be able to help educate our children on proper practices as far as establishing credit, so that when they become of age, they don't necessarily have to have a cosigner and that they're in a position to be able to purchase homes. I admire my broker so much. Both of his children, when they graduated from college, they went on to purchase condos instead of having to rent. And, that got me to thinking myself, like, am I preparing my children to be productive owners of property as they prepare for life? And my children are younger. My oldest child is a preteen. Oh my gosh, my oldest child is a preteen. So have we prepared our children to be able to transition in? So a couple things that I'm going to touch on today specifically is, what can we do to help our children become prepared? What are some things that we can instill in them so that they might be able to be productive? And maybe, I'm thinking we should break it up into a few pieces. So today what we're going to talk about is preparing ourselves and our children so that when they do leave us and they leave the nest, they're able and prepared to move on with a strong credit profile. So, a lot of people recommend that you put your children on your credit cards as authorized users, before age, so that when they are of age, they have a strong enough credit profile from credit history. Now, the thing that I find with that doesn't always allow that to be successful is some parents are not strong enough in their own credit to be able to have their children as authorized users. So what can we do as parents to be prepared so that we can have credit profiles so that our children can be authorized users? One, we can get 2 revolving credit lines, which would be credit cards, and ideally an installment loan. Those are some of the things that they're looking for. So 2 revolving lines, an installment loan, which is typically like a loan that has the same payment each month. So a mortgage, a car payment. School loans are considered, they're school loans, but they're still installment loans. And then you have revolving debt, which is going to be credit cards. And they're called revolving because the payment can change, meaning revolve. It can go up, it can go down. There's no guaranteed set payment on a credit card. Personal loans are considered installments as well because it's I think it has a set fee. Another thing with revolving debt, it typically has your interest rates. Interest rates will stay the same as long as you make your payments on time. But that's, another story for another day. So as parents, you want to try to make sure that you have a diversified credit profile so that you can have a strong credit history yourself. And then once you establish that, it takes credit aging about 12 months for credit cards to age, which is what most lenders are looking for. They're looking back 2 years. So you want to make sure that you can at least have your credit strong for 2 years. A year to 2 years. 2 years is usually the ideal. Like, I like to aim high. So I'd rather you aim for 2 years of good payment and only need 1 than aim for 1 and need 2. So aim for 2 years of good, strong payment history, paying on time, making sure that you basically hold true to whatever it is that you said that you're going to do with whatever loan it is that you take out. And then once you do that, then you can make sure that you put your child on as an authorized user. Once you do that, the history will report to your children's credit. I believe it takes about 6 months to do that. Again, that's that whole credit agent thing. You can add them. So I know that they can show sooner, but the impact, I think, is felt at its strongest point at 6 months, if I'm remembering that correctly. And if not, we'll do another video, because I'm a strong believer that if I don't know or if I'm unsure, then I will research and most definitely come back with an answer. So you want to be able to establish yourself to have a strong credit history, and then add your child as an authorized user. And in that time, you want to educate your child. You know, whenever they get money, something that I've started our children with at a young age is you pay yourself, you give some to charity, and with the rest you enjoy. So, you know, give yourself a percentage, and you don't have to teach it to them that way. You know, a 3 or 4 or 5 year old, of course, is not going to understand. You can't spend that money. No. You know, encourage, you know, small things. If they get $20 for Christmas from a grandparent or whatever the case may be, you know, put 10 to the side in their savings. You know, have them give $1 to like a charity or a local church or organization, and then let them spend the rest on whatever it is that they want. And, you know, as parents, we want to oftentimes say, no, don't buy that. You don't need that. You have too much. You know, let them buy whatever they want within reason. It's your child. You do with it what you want. But, you know, don't dictate to them. You don't want to put your thumb on them while they're still trying to learn. It's one thing once they've established and they've understood, but it's another thing while they're still in the learning phase. A personal finance or investment finance person who's really great with explaining things for children and credit is Susie Orman. I get her newsletter all the time. I love it. It's like Christmas for me every time I open up my email and it's in there. So, you know, you can get good information from her. I know Dave Ramsey has some programs to help educate your children. But these are things that I found on my own time that work for my own children. And my kids span from 4 to 11. So those are some things that I would recommend. You know, open up a savings account for your child. Some children's schools have banks. Make sure that they are actually able to do that. You know, send them, even if it's a couple dollars saves up to a lot. You know, pennies make dollars. Dollars makes hundreds. Hundreds makes thousands, and so on and so forth. So, you know, as people, as parents, we want to make sure that we instill in our children, or you should be wanting to make sure you instill in your children that even if it's the smaller amounts, you know, that will eventually build up. If you start your child saving at a young age, by the time they're like 18, 20, or graduate from college, whatever they've saved is going to be a lot more than what it would be if you just taught them at 17. You know, we wait till our kids start working. I think I got my first job when I was 14. You know, you don't want to wait till your child starts working and then, you know, do this, don't do that, don't do this. You know, they're preteens, or they're teenagers. They think they know everything anyway. So it's going to be hard to try to instill in them principles that are going to help them go far. We get upset because, and by we, I mean overall, generationally, as parents, we get upset because, you know, our children put so much of an emphasis on things as opposed to long-term things. And we condition them that way. It really, I mean, we do it. I mean, call ace a spade. You know, we have to get them early enough so that they can. And if you have children, if you feel like you dropped the ball, it's not too late to pick it up. You know, don't beat yourself up, but, you know, sit with them. What would you like to learn financially so that we can help you be productive and successful? And if you don't feel like that you're educated enough and that, you know, find somebody who is, because I'm a firm believer that if I can't, I will find somebody who can do. And then I'll refer the mess out of them. Like, that's my thing. Refer. So I hope that this helps somebody. The next section of it that we're going to go through is we're going to discuss parents who open up accounts for their children at a young age. It's not fair. It's not right. But I know that needed to be a separate video because I feel very passionately about that. Not that I've ever had it happen, but there's two generations that touch my heart, you know, when it comes to financial things, which would be children and seniors. So we'll post that one up by next week. I want to thank you for your time, and I hope that this video finds you well. If you like it, thumbs up, subscribe, share it, Facebook it, whatever you feel like you need to do. But let me know, because I only know what works for you guys if you're responding to me, you're talking to me, and you know, that's what helps me know what's good for you guys. So I appreciate it. You guys have an awesome day.